is this 12-year-old boy that's sitting in a California juvenile detention center. He's accused of stabbing his 8-year-old sister more than 20 times. The boy initially claimed it was an intruder. Well, that led to a massive 2-week manhunt. But investigators now say they have charged Layla Fowler's brother. He continues to maintain his innocence, and his lawyers say there are all kinds of holes in this case. The boy's attorney, Mark Reichel, joining me now live via Skype. Mark, I appreciate you joining me. You know, police say they've got their killer, that it's your client, this 12-year-old brother. You've just been given all the evidence. Our viewers want to know, why do you believe this 12-year-old boy is innocent?
Thanks for having me on. I can tell you, first of all, we haven't actually got all of the evidence. 3 weeks ago, we first got in the case, less than 3 weeks ago, excuse me, a little over 2 weeks ago. And the district attorney's office gave us quite a bit of information and discovery, but definitely not all of it. In fact, as you'll hear, what we're waiting on is any further real scientific evidence, scientific lab reports, because right now the district attorney's office is actually working with the California Attorney General's office to provide.
So do you believe your client's innocent?
Yes, I do.
Tell me why.
Here's why. First of all, I can't discuss all of the facts yet because I haven't seen all of the facts yet, and I haven't finished my own internal office investigation with my staff and my investigators. But I can tell you this: the police got there, and it's a 12-year-old. A 12-year-old is charged with a really heinous crime. The 12-year-old is charged with a crime that allegedly was committed in a very small environment, his home that he was raised in or is living in, is not raised in, and they don't make an immediate arrest. They don't make an immediate arrest for 2 weeks, and he gives them a statement of how it happened. They then thereafter question him about probably 6 separate occasions, including the FBI does interviews with him. And there's a phrase in law enforcement, and those that do criminal defense know, if you can't crack a 12-year-old, if you can't turn a 12-year-old around to change their statement, something's going on. And so in this case, we had all these interviews. He never changed his statement. There was not an immediate arrest. And the odds of a 12-year-old committing a crime like this and not being immediately arrested, which everyone would agree wasn't premeditated. So it's not like a child who's 12 could have thought about how he would have an escape hatch for this. But so everyone agrees it's not premeditated. It couldn't have been premeditated. And here you go. It takes 2 weeks to arrest him. So additionally, what's been released by the sheriff's department and which has been released out there in the media is that there were several people, not just one, there was more than one, who came up with a similar description. I mean, the boy gave a description of someone who he says was the assailant, and not a great description because he didn't get a great look at him, according to his statement.
Was he lying? He said there was an intruder. He gave a description. There was a massive manhunt. Was he lying about that?
No. Look, I don't believe my clients lied about anything. And like I said, also, I'm still early into the case.
Mark, let me ask you a question. It's Joey Jackson. On the issue of immediate arrest, I don't think the police are in the business of arresting immediately. I think the police are in the business of arresting appropriately, meaning you certainly want to make sure you have the right person. And so are you suggesting that because the police didn't immediately arrest them, that there's some flaw with their investigation?
You know, Joe, you're right. And often they want to make the appropriate arrest. Also, we all know about times where after a while they need to do something because the pressure's on. The FBI flew out. I mean, the pressure was on locally here to make an arrest at some point. And my point to you, Joe, really is that if immediately it wasn't apparent that this should be the #1 suspect, then there's something strange there. For a 12-year-old to almost commit the perfect crime that wasn't premeditated.
What was the relationship with his sister? What was the relationship with the 12-year-old brother with his sister?
By all accounts, wonderful. Neighbors in the community, the family members said the same thing. He was very appropriate with her. He was actually rather protective of her. They were blood related, and they were very close. And in our investigation, we've talked to people that know him, not just the family, because the great proverb is, you want to know about somebody, don't ask a family, ask their neighbors.
Go ahead, Joey.
Will there be an explanation, Mark, will there be an explanation as to how this death occurred? In other words, if he didn't do it, not that it's the defense's burden to establish who did, and of course everyone's presumed innocent till proven guilty, but will there be some indication of how this death occurred? And are you saying your client had absolutely nothing to do with it?
Absolutely nothing to do with it is what I'm telling you. From what I know now, 2 weeks into this case, from my review of everything,
so who do you think killed her? You have looked at a lot of evidence. Final question, who do you think killed Layla?
We haven't looked at enough evidence to say who it is.
All right. Mark, I appreciate you Skyping in. Layla's brother will be back in court on July 31st. That's when a judge will set a trial date. Until then, he's being held at a juvenile detention facility. If he's found guilty, he'll be locked up until his 23rd birthday.